Here it goes again.
Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Mayor Joe Taylor Show with Jeff. What isn't this guy right here on it? Got his Yankee. Look at his hat today, Mayor.
I love it.
That's a
I don't know
good looking
why
hat.
do we have a hat on? I thought we were just deciding we're going to let that flow.
Hey, it's spring training baseball.
Okay,
I'm in it.
He's
I can
in.
settle
Between
that. But
spring baseball and the NFL combine going on right now,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm in my element.
But your wife said she wanted you to keep that wig
She
out.
did-
Flow.
But you know what? She ain't here, Joe.
Okay.
When I walk in the
Boy.
door, my hat will be off.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now we're good. Yeah. We went back to the
Oh.
Make sure, man.
Straight back to the
truth.
truth.
Yeah. I ain't got to listen to all that until I get home.
That quote. Will she walk away?
I'll be talking.
I'll be
again.
talking again. Oh, so anything new happening?
Man, it's just all going on right now. It's hard to say what is good, and what's new.
Well, you're involved. You win. It's good. But let me
That's
talk about
right.
this.
When he
Somebody-
sniffs, watch out.
No. Somebody's retiring that no one wants to see retire out of your
Yeah.
street department.
Hey, we got two down there, man. The two guys are Carl and Huey. And
Yeah.
together, those guys have over 70 years of
Good
service to
grief.
Rainbow City. Every street, every lamppost, everything that's ever been built or allows for us to move about this city in a good, safe way. A big portion of that, they had their hand in it.
Yeah.
And they're just good guys. Both of them at a time in their life when they can shove into retirement, do really, really well. We had a little event for them yesterday, a party for them. And I was able to tell them that I guess my portion for them was that since they've come into office, our city council decided, we had to go after creating incentive for people to stay working and retention. And in doing that, one of the things we were able to do was raise their pay, which raises their retirement, which there's a negative effect to that for the city. And that is that our people get a chance to retire earlier.
Yeah.
Which is a great incentive for them. But, at the end of the day, Cody Lassiter made a post this morning that was just absolutely precious. And it was just giving those guys their due, just how important they are to us. But, I guess if you're going to lay blame in somebody being able to finish their life up in retirement, you can lay a portion of it on our council in my office, because our intent when we came in was to, number one, create 108 ambassadors that go out into this city and do the work for us.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of work. That it's not that hard, just to be honest with you. But it is very, very hard for them. And they were incredibly underpaid, vastly underpaid. And we've tried to correct that as much as we possibly can. And we've seen how that works, because it has an infusion of confidence from the people that live here, knowing that they, my moniker from the very beginning when I got elected was to say that we're going to return the tax money that's given to us, that from the good stewards that use this city, and we're going to return it in premium services.
Right.
They were a big part of the premium services. Now, you then have to say, well, they worked for the mayor previous and the mayor before that, and that's all true. But I can tell you what they did. They bought into our program, which was let's elevate this and see if we can't elevate you guys, and therefore they announced their retirement. So it's sad, but it's also, I congratulate them.
Yeah.
I've been able to leave a career or two and know that I was ready to go to the next thing. And they both have next things. Carl's wife actually told me, she said, he's got a list of things he's got to do. And I said, well, he'll get all that done in about 2 months, and then you're going to send him down to the shop to hang out and have coffee.
Can we be sure that Kenneth never retires?
I don't know. Kenneth and I have an agreement. He leaves when I leave.
Oh.
Okay.
And not before. He can't
Maybe
leave
the
before.
best deal you've ever struck.
It is. That's a very good negotiated deal. I'll
Yes,
say
it
that.
is.
But Kenneth is. I don't think people really understand how much influence Kenneth has in this city and in the surrounding cities.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kenneth is a big reason that Southside had a a recycling program
Mhm.
that is now a thriving recycling program, and he works with all of our sister cities, and it's he's just a different kind of guy.
Yeah.
Comes
Andrew
through.
Ford. Oh my gosh. He says the fact that Jeff's not wearing his standard hat and Jerry's rocking that hideous shoeless Joe Jackson hat, I'm gonna have to turn this thing off for the day.
Don't do it, Andrew.
Dang, Andrew. Did y'all ever meet?
No, as a matter of fact, I saw him last night at the ball game, and I said, we've got to meet.
It's because Andrew's flaky.
Yep.
Anybody make a comment like that?
Andrew, don't let him do this, man.
Flaky.
Hey, you got a keyboard. Get on him.
What did he say? I bet he better not get in my face.
Oh, drop that.
Hey,
Sorry.
and they go up to the next tee and say, "Hey, sorry for saying."
Yeah, our bad.
I told my wife that story the other day. We were playing this tournament with Andrew. No, we were playing a tournament. We were playing a tournament with Andrew, and
He hits all of that driver.
oh my gosh, he hit my 8-iron. I had these new clubs, brand new. I mean, I think it was my second time playing with him.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm gonna hit that." So he grabbed this 8-iron, and he hit this 8-iron. Was it 230 yards?
Flush.
Unbelievable.
Just pure.
I hate people like
Pure.
that. I mean, why they want to do that in front of me? Do that
He
behind
did it
my
to
back
show me
so
up.
that I can say that's a lie.
Yeah,
At least he was on our team.
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Oh, that's a good thing.
But then he was so frustrated about this one shot. And he said some words.
It was
Okay.
great.
Then he went to the next tee box. Hey, I'm sorry for saying that.
And said it to the other guys.
But he said the word again.
Yeah.
Sorry for saying that.
Yeah.
Love it.
And by the way, this was a Christian
Oh,
tournament.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
check on our judge.
Look at that.
Andrew, they came in yesterday.
They look good too, buddy.
The new Tacomas.
Holy smoke!
Yeah,
It's a
came in
good
yesterday.
club, isn't it?
That
I
nice
could hit.
lumpkin.
What is that?
Pitching wedge. That's
Pitch and wedge. I can hit that 60 yards.
twice probably.
Sure, you could. The way we hear that you swing the club,
Now I'm gonna
that's
hit it.
a
I'm gonna hit it.
120-yard club.
It's just not going anywhere.
That's not
But
true.
it's going to be straight, and it's going to have just a little bit of a backup when it hits.
Oh.
that.
Oh, you got a little English
You
on
put
it.
that action on it.
A little bit of spin.
Even on the driver.
Yes.
Oh.
It does. It puts the brakes
So his
on.
spin rate on the driver is the Joey Colcutt spin rate.
It is.
It's awful.
I got a great question here on what am I on YouTube? You're on Facebook. I'm on YouTube.
I'm on Facebook.
Who you voting for Senate District 10?
It's a long way home. It's a long way to the clubhouse.
It is.
So I think we better give this thing a chance to settle in and see what's going to actually come from it. That's it. That's a sucker question. I think.
Wow. Some would say that was a
hurts
setup.
me. That hurts me that
Mhm.
that they would
I just asked the
that they
question.
would sell me short. Who was that?
Well, it's not as easy because YouTube
It
has
says,
weird, stupid.
I got
it
guys.
says
Yeah.
at.
Andrew Jones.
That's not true. It's not. That's not true.
Sorry.
AndrewJones.com.
Have y'all gotten any feedback from that?
Oh my God.
Any at all?
Every day.
Mayor Taylor, every single day there's emails and text messages. And
Yeah, I think I was shocked at how well received the show was. I haven't had anybody. Of course, I don't know that anybody would come up to me, and people are not necessarily that way. But the people that came up to me was like, those were things that need to be said. I've had a text thread with people that are very involved with the party just this morning, and and it comes back to the one word that I use, and it's ambiguity, and the rules or term. The rules are too ambiguous. Now that's my party. I'm going to always stand up for that party.
Sure.
I believe in what our tenet is, our cardinal meaning behind what we're trying to do, which is to create value in politics and bring values back to politics. I think it's just one of those things that it needs to be vetted out and redone, reworked. If you've got 400 people on an executive committee, which is what I was told this morning, those 400 people are going to get in there and caucus and figure out, hey, we've missed this one thing, and that is to firm the rules up so that people can then know prior to running. And of course, you're going to have the group of people that say, well, you shouldn't start running until you qualify. Everybody knows that's the most ridiculous statement you could ever make.
Yeah.
Because to say that you're only going to run for 4 or 5 months, that's insanity. You can't do that. You can't get your name out in a district that's 3 counties. I mean, it's tough enough to do it in a local election and get it out in 25 square miles. Now, take that out to about 250 square miles, and all of a sudden you're up against a pretty insurmountable odds. So what are they saying now? I'm going to pull my phone out.
Tracy Cordell says, "Let's get off the subject of politics. I hate drama." Bunch of laughter. Update us on the Purple Onion location.
Yeah, I'm not covering that Purple Onion location, Tracy. You're such an antagonist. I love that girl. She is something else.
Oh, Jerry.
Huh?
Milo's.
Milo's, man. Gotta have Milo.
Oh,
we want it.
Hey, did you see where Carson Butler's running for?
I did.
How about that?
He's up in Marshall County.
That's
yeah,
awesome, isn't it?
Carson's a good guy.
Yeah.
He did it here. I think he's been elected delegate a couple of times.
Yes. Yep.
And but moved up there with his wife, and
someone said,
I like Carson. Carson's a solid guy. He's probably, and I'd have to think this out just a little bit, but other than Rachel, and I'm not real sure how she voted, Carson may have been the first person to say that he was formally endorsing me.
Really?
And he did it in front of his dad when his dad was hedging. Mac was hedging a little bit because he kind of didn't know if he was going to go my way or not. But Carson walked into the office and told his dad, he went, "There's my mayor."
That's awesome.
And his dad looked at me and I went, "Well, that cat's out of the bag."
That's fun.
No, he's a good guy, and he really believes in what he's doing. And I think Carson's one of those guys that, again, that young guy that's kind of taking the baton and going to run with the Republican Party, and we need that. We need that so much.
He's a good kid. Good kid. Hey, somebody said he could play some golf too, from what I understand.
Yeah, Carson's a player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've played behind them in a tournament one time, and he can hit the ball. He's a good golfer. I think his brother's pretty good too.
Really?
Yeah. Both of them. Good swings, athletic.
Yeah.
Upsets me.
Well, it's
different than their dad.
It's that long
flat
tall.
belly.
Yes,
Yeah, long tall
flat
thin.
belly.
I hate that.
Freaking Andrew.
Andrew.
Sorry. Hey, this is a great question as well. With all the races forthcoming, what do you think about? All right, so I can actually read, believe it or not. But when you guys keep putting messages up, it
bumps it up.
It moves, so I lose it.
Yeah.
Talk about county commission races. If you think.
Well, I mean, I think, what do we have? 2?
I
think so.
We've got 2. I know we've got the one here, which is our district. Our city's covered with 2 county commissioners. We have Craig Enzer, that's the north of the city, and then we have Tim Ramsey, that's the commissioner in the south of the city. And so, I think Craig is not in a race, but Tim is, and he's got two guys that are running against him. Both of those guys have. All 3 of them have come to see me, which I don't know why, but they have. They say that all the time. But they came to see me. They're 3 good candidates. I'm not going to say anything negative about those guys. Jeff Bynum's a good friend of mine. Johnny Cook, I didn't know Johnny, but Johnny's an Itala boy, and we had about an hour-long conversation, and then everybody knows that Tim and I go back, to the fire department about 30 years, and Tim has been the county commissioner. I do believe that, I watched a part of your previous show, I think that one of the things about taking on running is I tip my hat to anybody that has the guts to do this.
Sure.
Because it does take courage. Excuse me, but I think that courage, has to come with some study, because you can't just say, well, I'm fed up with this and then go into politics.
Yeah.
You need to do some studying and some soul searching and understand that there's going to be attacks that come. You suffer those daily at the hands of social media, but you're also going to have some very forward people that will come in and say things about you that you're not going to be ready for.
Mm-hmm.
I had the same thing. I didn't have a lot of it. Luckily, COVID was going on and you couldn't be seen in public, so that helped me a lot.
I miss those days.
Yeah, those were great days. It was the best time in the world to run a political campaign
gosh.
because you got to run all of it on social media, and you know, and I think that's what you're seeing now is you're seeing
Thank you.
these guys, these older guys, just kind of embrace social media and run campaigns that are more about what they think rather than to disparage and try to go after the other candidate. I don't like that. Terry John and I, the previous mayor, Terry John Calhoun, and I, we sat down and said, we're not going to go after each other. We're not going to try to hurt each other's reputation or attack character and integrity. It'd be hard to attack Terry John's integrity because he was just such a good man. And so I was just hoping that he would, take the bait and not attack mine. But no, we made it all the way through. And I'll say this. I believe that Terry John Calhoun and I had the cleanest, very, very outwardly open and vocal race that you could ever have, because I never heard him say anything negative against me. He had somebody in his camp, that somebody that was a supporter that was saying some pretty bad things, and some of it was actually true. It was misplaced and misguided.
Yeah.
And I went straight to Terry John's office and I said, hey man, you've got somebody that's popping off. And he said, I'll take care of it. And he did that day. He fired that guy off of his campaign. See, that's how politics should be. He knew I didn't hate him.
Oh yeah.
I went out to get him. He had brought this place, forward for 16 years to where it was, and then it was my chance to take over and move on from there. And the night that I was elected, he walked up to me. Terry John was a really tall guy, and he was kind of towering over me. And he said, "Well, Mayor," he said, "I can read about this in the paper tomorrow." And he left and went home and left the crowd to me, which I thought, see, even that is a gentlemanly way of stepping back out of the way and saying, "Hey, this is his. This is what you chose, and let's move on." And it's just amazing. But again, to talk about Kenneth Payne, Kenneth walked up to me. He's an employee of the city, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to go out and take up signs tonight for Terry John." And I said, "Well, Kenneth, that's your business. That's none of my business." But that's the way Kenneth is, and that's the way Terry John was, and their friendship was very deep rooted. And then for Kenneth to turn right around and get on board with me, doing business the way I do it, which was totally different than Terry John.
He loves the city.
Yeah,
he does, and it proved to me that one thing, and that was the same thing that I asked my assistant when she was very fearful, that I could potentially come in and replace her. I had no idea I could. I wouldn't have for sure, but she was fearful of her job, and I don't like that either. That people go in and just begin to replace people before they figure out, whether their food's been salted or not.
What is it about politics that makes people so disingenuous and evil? What? Because somebody before they run for office.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding you and Terry John. I mean, you guys were probably the exceptions to the rule.
There's no doubt.
You see people before, and they're normal people, everything's fine, they don't bash anybody, but then they decide one day they're going to run for office, and all of a sudden they hear a rumor they've got attacked, and then they go on the attack, and then it turns public and turns social. What is it?
I think it's that fifth wheel person that's always behind chirping, and they'll say to you, people said it to me a lot. I have a really good friend that was helping me with social media, and he would tell me quite often, "You're going to have to go on the attack." And I said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather lose." And because I wanted to be able to lose, I wanted to be able to win with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
But I was okay with losing with integrity too.
Yeah.
But I wanted to maintain that one thing, and that, I don't like using the word integrity and character when I talk about myself. But there are times when you have to, and this is one of them. I think it's such an ego-driven business, because there's no doubt about it. When you walk into a room, people don't say there's Joe. They say there's the mayor.
That's
and
right.
That somehow has some kind of value. I've yet to figure out what that value is, because the truth is,
Wow.
It's my job to mop the floors. It's my job to to police up the area and keep things the way it's supposed to be. That's not as sexy a position as everybody wants to make it out to be. It's just not that. My job last week was to order a locking mechanism for one of the stalls in the lower men's restroom.
Very important, though.
Now that came from the second highest person in our building is our city clerk, who maintains basically all the HR and the other things and kind of oversees all that. She sends me a text that says, "Hey, we need to get this door fixed." I think that's the understanding that my staff has of my job. My job is to support them, and who do we go to next? Now she wasn't telling me what to do.
Sure.
She was asking a question. Where do we go to get this done? And of course, I'm going to just, instead of passing it 3 or 4 levels down, I'm going to engage and order a dadgum lock. Let's get it in here and somebody will put it on. So I think it's just such an ego business. I mean, you do get to go a couple of places. We'll spend some time in Montgomery where everybody, and I tell everybody that we go to the League of Municipalities, and there's a point, and it's normally at the very beginning of people's careers in politics that it looks like a sports coat convention. Whoever has the most colorful, well-fitting sports coat wins. And that's just not it. I mean, we're down there to do business, to learn better practices for our city. But what you find out is that they're really just down there to be wined and dined by special interests.
You keep Gilt Iswell.
Dude, what you need to get you one of those brick suits like the brick guy here from Alabama that goes to all these Trump things.
Oh yeah.
Who is that guy? Do you? I don't know.
I can see him.
He's an Alabamian.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's a. I can't remember what the
got
guy
a great comment here. This is from Mr. Mayor. It's from Johnny Cook, who is running. He said, Mayor Taylor, back to politics. As you know, I'm running for District 4 County Commission, which is your district. When elected commissioner, what are some of the things I can do to help Rainbow City?
Oh, I think it's a great question. I'm going to say something that's not going to land well, and it's not going to land well to anybody that's running for county commissioner. Tim, Johnny, or Jeff. There's not a lot a county commissioner can do.
That's right.
Now I can, and I'll tell you why. It's because they, years ago, because of apportionment and the way they districted out the commission and the way they dole out money so that it's equal in all areas. Even though Johnny would, if he were to win, would have a couple of 100 miles, while Jeffrey Washington has 8 miles,
right.
Because most of his miles are covered. It's based on population, but it's also based on the number of his miles are caught up inside the city. Most of those are city roads, city streets, and so what they ended up doing in this consent decree after a lawsuit was to say everybody gets the same amount of money, and by the way, you road commissioners, which is what a lot of people think they are, that's what they used to be. Mm-hmm. Those road commissioners then kind of fall under the elections that are made by the county commissioners, CAO, Shane Ellison, and also the money guy, which is Kevin Dollar. Both of those are extremely qualified people. I work with them continuously. Kevin Dollar is probably the best money man. I'd love to have him at Rainbow City, Kevin. And Shane Ellison is a great CAO. Sure. He was Sherman's right hand man.
Should have been
I'm
the next
telling
mayor.
you, when you insert that consent decree in, now I would love to see that consent decree lifted so that county commissioners could have more input in what they're doing. I just feel like they have them handcuffed a little bit right now, quite a bit. And but I guess to answer the question, and look, the county commissioner now does this. You got to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And you've got to be 2 places at one time, which that's just the way it has to be. And you have to hear our people, and then you've got to really engage in the finance procedures to find out where do we go next. The county commission is again handcuffed. It's why I would not be a county commissioner. And I'm not discouraging these guys, but I just wouldn't do it. They don't have the ability to raise taxes. Right. They don't have any sort of home rule We have limited home rule as in municipal government, and so we can raise permits and taxes and stuff like that. In their case, every dollar that they get, they become enslaved, so to speak, to the legislature. And we know right now that our legislature is down there doing what they were elected to do, which is to cut taxes.
Yeah.
Now, that puts them in a really bad place. They're fighting against their own desire to do good, and they're, boy, that sounded like it, being a county commissioner is just not so cool anymore. But it's just the machine that they're caught up in. But that machine will eat you up.
There's tons of comments on here. Do you see Danny Starnes comment about Andrew? Andrew, I need you to comment on that, by the way. And Danny Starnes, I have not invited Andrew on, but through Jerry, I have invited Andrew on, not Andrew Ford, Senator Jones, and he has declined to come on our show. So just giving that housekeeping right there. Okay.
America's mayor.
America's mayor. That's right.
That's funny.
You are America's mayor.
That's funny. I think that there's a lot of us. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big number. I will say that, because being a mayor of a small town it's. I said a minute ago, we don't work that hard. We don't work that hard, but we do put in a lot of hours. And I'm fortunate that when I show up to events, my counsel's alongside me, and I don't think they even, and maybe this is a good time for me to say this to them, if any of them's watching. Jameson probably is, because he's not doing anything else. But if I were to speak to my counsel right now, I would tell them that how much I thank them and appreciate them for the fact that they show up. I know on Saturdays that I can count on. I can't be at every event. It's just an impossibility. But I know that if Rainbow Middle School's got something going on, Clark Hopper's going to be there. I know that Randy Weiss is going to, be bouncing from city to city, because of being a teacher and an educator. And, I know Jameson is always out there in the public eye, just even in his job. But his job carries this sideline title of being a county or being a city councilman in Rainbow City. And then Jeff Prince, everybody knows that I can call him Jeff almost any time, except that he's out of town right now. And Jeff will go and stand in my place, and he does a really, really good job doing that. He's got better hair, but he
not as good hair.
He's got great hair, but he's not as snappy a dresser.
No. Some would say you're more photogenic, like in real life. I don't know what's happening, but in these pictures, it could be when you have pictures made with your wife. Maybe she just makes you look that much better.
It don't hurt.
People don't even hurt in those pictures.
But it don't hurt.
Right.
They'll say, who's the guy with Rachel?
Right.
Oh, that's Joe.
Oh, that's the mayor.
And they'll zoom in and go, "Ooh." And then they immediately think, "What's Rachel thinking?"
We know what she was thinking. Don't even worry about it. We know.
You get a thrust of Volkswagen.
He did drive a Beetle back in the day, didn't he?
Back in the day, I sure did.
No, Volkswagen.
There's no doubt about it. I think
Wright.
that's one of the things that with the political contests that are going on right now is that I just encourage people to run their race. Stay out of the mud. There's no sense in slinging it. It's everywhere for everybody else to sling as well. So I do hope that in some time in the future that the county commission can find a way to have more opportunity to make things better. We're one of those counties that I'm not sure, I don't know what the number would be, but I don't think you could borrow $200 million and get the roads fixed right now. And if you borrowed $200 million in Etowah County's financial position, which is good, it would break them and bankrupt them. So I don't know what the answer is. I wished I did. I wish the federal government could step in and I think we've stopped sending money other places, and I hope that that's one of the things that President Trump and his administration is going to do, is to find a way to, let's get back to paved roads instead of us now having, in this county, we've had to convert paved roads to dirt roads. That's not the step in the right direction.
I didn't even tell you this, but I got a call last night from our old friend Teresa Ray.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome, by the way.
She's
Dr.
incredible.
Ray.
And she wants to come on with a couple people, and they got a contest coming up with the Challenger Center. We're going to talk about
good.
it. There will be a cash prize.
Yes.
Open
Nice.
to 5th and 6th graders only. She's going to come in. I told her we'll find a day and we'll call her this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know we've talked about it, Joe. Just the importance of not only the Challenger Center, but the people we have leading this thing. It's uncomprehendable.
It is. I've had a chance just in the last few weeks to go out where they're bringing people through the Challenger Center, and it's getting really, really close to being finished. I think they're looking at first part of May, doing the ribbon cutting but to answer to the people, and I think I can call most of them by name, especially the key players. You've got Martha Lavender and you've got Teresa Ray. They were the brainchild of this thing. They decided that this was a good idea. Martha gets on to me a little bit because I said it was the two crazy ladies that decided to do this. But
Wow.
there's an old saying that just a very small amount of insanity is what drives innovative people.
Yeah.
Because they believe that they can do things that are almost impossible. They've done probably what I would have considered the most impossible feat for an area our size, and that is to bring that Challenger Learning Center. They knew how to identify the people that they needed, but Martha Lavender is, and please, Martha, take this the right way. She is a monster when you're in a meeting. Her ability to control a meeting and to track during that meeting is incredible. Then you have Dr. Ray, Teresa, that's over on the other side that's talking about curriculum and the actual education portion of what's going on. And then the move that was the premier gold standard move that they made was when they somehow grabbed Farrah Hayes. And the night that we had the meeting, Martha actually kind of was going to let the cat out of the bag, and she kind of pulled it back. And I just looked at her and I said, "Can we know the person's name that you're talking about getting as this executive director?" And she just kind of whispered, "Farrah Hayes." And I went, "That's not going to happen." And she went, "Oh, yes, it is." And I thought, boy, you better be careful. I didn't want to drop a bet right then because I thought she just stood up to me. And they got Farrah Hayes, and now they've got Chad Strong, and if that team that they're building, and then you go to that advisory committee that has Jeff Boyd, Jeff Prince, Nanda Patel, Elaine Spearman, God, who else is on there? Judge Milliken. These are people that, and then Tony Smith, Alabama Power guy, and Tony's leading that. I think he'll lead it through the ribbon cutting. If you are in a room with those guys, and look, everybody in that room's got a business card, which is amazing, because you don't want to be in that room. That's not the room I like walking
Wasn't he
into.
on our board at Salvation Army?
He was.
Okay.
Tony Smith is an incredibly smart man, and he's genuine. And now that rascal can run a meeting too. Now he don't play around, and I think that's what you've got is you've got this group of people that are just absolutely dedicated to humbling themselves to do better work. And in that, we're going to have a Challenger Learning Center here. I went to one of their kind of financial updates here not long ago, and I don't think people can understand that, in our business, in governmental business, you say $1 million here, $1 million there, it's just zeros. It's not that easy. It's easy for me because you're going to send your tax money forward, and then I take it and I apply it as a good steward on your behalf. With Challenger, they had to go out and raise all their money.
Yeah.
And I think at the last one, they were at just about $19 million that they've raised.
Incredible.
And that's going out and selling people on an idea at a time when there wasn't even dirt. They didn't have a place, and man, just that group of people. And I hope. Tina Gregerson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't. I can see her. I saw her face because
Yelling at you.
yes, and if I miss somebody, I'm so sorry. Jeff Boyd. I may have missed him, but if you look at that advisory board, they gathered such a great combination of the crosscut of every level of whether it was education. I mean, they've got me. I'm the guy representing the GED recipients, and we're just in a really, really good spot. Challenger Learning Center is amazing, and that building that Trent Thrasher Construction is doing, it was designed by Craig Lipscomb. It's something else. It's something else. You really need to go visit.
Well, she's going to give us a personal tour, Jeff.
It's worth it.
Amen.
When the doctor says, I'm going to take you on a tour, you're going.
I'm going on a tour.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because I tell people that hearing Farrah Hayes talk about the Challenger Learning Center is like literally being inserted into a cartoon. She becomes so animated,
wow,
and so excited about what she does. It's a lot of fun. I like going out when she does tours, and I'll just walk around behind them.
Yeah.
And hear her encourage and strengthen that relationship with all these boards of education, because the intent of this group was to put STEM learning, technology learning into the hands of starting in 5th grade. And if we don't catch them then, I promise you we're going to lose them forever.
Wow. That's strong. Everybody's throwing out knowledge. Comments are firing up. Thank you, guys. Let me ask you this. Did you ever think, being from the east side, being from East Gadsden, where you came from, born and bred, worked, lived, went to school, that you would be sitting in the position you are in, surrounded by the caliber of people that you're surrounded by?
Well, it's not,
because you just mentioned some powerhouses.
They are, and then it's like everywhere I go. And it's not a bragging point. It's just the life that I live now. Rachel and I talk about it all the time. Is what the crap? Or what are you doing in there? And it's just where we know we're outgunned at times. Not necessarily her, but I know I am. But I'm afforded, because of the trust of a voting public, to do a job that is an absolute pleasure and honor. And I think that comes from I am that old. I started out, I can't even say that I was an East Side guy. I moved up in the world when I moved to the East Side. I was from South Gadsden. I was from Flatwoods. Jesse Dean Smith, graduate, and that's about as far as it made it as far as graduation ceremonies. But, and then I went to Litchfield and, moved over into East Gadsden because the highway 759 got us. And you get over there, and of course, during that time, I lost both of my parents, and it's not really a story that I tell a whole lot, but I lost both of my parents. I was one of 5 kids that weren't out and moved out and gone, and and there was no DHR, there was no social services that we ever touched on, and and the rest of us just kind of survived and made it through it as much as we could, and through that time, those 9 kids took one of 2 directions, and it was either to go the direction of right or wrong, and whatever that sizes up to be. But I was lucky enough that I took what I consider maybe the appropriate direction, but it was also because I was encouraged by the obviously our it's ironic that you guys had a sheriff's candidate in here, but James Hayes was a deputy sheriff and caught me doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing, and kind of told me, hey, you need to go join the military or you're going to go to prison. And he was convicted when he said it, and he actually felt that conviction to move on me and tell me, buddy, I'm going to put you in prison. And I believed him.
I bet you did.
The next day, the next few days, I joined the military, and that changed the trajectory of my life, and I was just fortunate that he leaned on me enough to scare me, because I wasn't afraid of anything. And I tell people now, I'm not afraid of much. I think there's a part of me missing, a chip that's missing, but and I think that makes me an adequate enough leader when it comes to municipal government, but there is it is wild that, last week after our meeting, I was I was over in Anniston and at JSU. I was at JSU campus at Merrill Hall and got the chance to walk in. And when I walked up, Congressman Rogers turned around and said, "Joe, it's not supposed to happen to me." That's not how I saw myself, finishing out my life, was to be able to be recognized by arguably the most powerful congressman in the United States that over the House, the defense spending for this country in the Armed Services Committee, and I know him by name. And that now I will say that I've put my work in so that those people would know me, because I needed them to know where Rainbow City was.
That's right.
And they know now. I promise you that. They know from here all the way to Washington, D.C. They know where this little small town is and how important it is to the economy of this region.
Two things. One, Jeff, we can't take this one personal. When you were doing all those high-ranking people, they said present company excluded.
Wow.
Dang.
That one hurt.
All right.
Dang.
I'm a man of the people.
That's cold-blooded.
We're going to say it. I'll be making a comment later.
Yes, he will.
Also, I thought this was a very, very good question.
Good.
Really thought out question. What would 16-year-old Joe Taylor think about the Joe Taylor update?
Oh, that's good.
Shoot, that's tough. I guess
He would like him.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't see this happening for me. I tell everybody all the time that I was a grass cutter. My former mother-in-law, God rest her soul, she's passed away now. She was very tough on me because of my ex-wife was their darling daughter, and I understand every bit of that now, being a girl dad. But she always believed I wasn't good enough for her daughter. She was probably right. Now, there's no doubt about that. She was good to me, for the better part that a mother-in-law could be. But she would. I remember, I was seen as being that old grass cutter, and I remember when I became a firefighter, I went up in the world. And that's not really a big jump, just so you'll know. But it was one of those things where I thought, well, now I'm getting there, and all the while I was running this little small grass cutting business, and that ended up being a pretty lucrative opportunity for me and for others. And I didn't see it happening. I didn't. I mentioned the other day that I'd ran for county commissioner previously. I was a kid. I figured out right quick I didn't belong in that game. I just didn't belong in the game, and kind of halfway just kind of quit running. Finished out, and I think I came in second place or something like that. But I think that made me understand that there was a time coming when it was an appropriate time for me to give back my service, and that's kind of where I am now. 16-year-old Joe would have never seen this one coming. But I don't think 16-year-old Joe thought he would be free for the rest of his life either.
Oh.
And so there's that.
Dang.
Tough.
I'm just asking questions. I'm
Yeah.
just reading them.
That's a fair question.
Miss McNutt says the most humble and genuine mayor.
I knew she wasn't directing that to me.
Well, she highlighted mayor for sure.
Good. I appreciate that.
Andrew Ford, good luck with that request.
Yeah.
I'll show you the text message of the reply. Not going to happen, Andrew.
We do appreciate it, though.
Sure.
Very, very, very much.
Hey, can you talk a little bit about a lot of questions about the corridor, the traffic situation? Where do we stand with that?
Yeah, we're I think if you go back and look, we're talking about 5 years since, or 5.5 years since I came into office. We had I think it was called maybe a 5% plan about 3-laning the highway here. We had a meeting with AlDOT just last week or week before last, and that's moving to right-of-way acquisition in the next few weeks. which would put us very, very close to having, that puts us at 85% plan in hand, which means that we can go to bid at that point. So right away acquisition, you'll start seeing us move some utility. You've already seen some of that happening, and that will set us to be able to extend the traffic pattern down all the way down past Lumley Road going to our schools, which allows for just a better management of people. The other thing is that, we finished out, which was Terry John's plan. It was kind of his baby, was the Lindsay Kinsey extension off of Lumley Road down by Rainbow Middle out to Highway 77, which purged a little bit of our school traffic off and allowed. But the problem is now that we've built right back up. We're dealing with so many more cars now than when I came into office. Our intersection used to be at about 15,000 cars a day. It's pushing 30,000 cars a day. Wow. And now people can then say, well, we just got more cars. No, it's actually that we're moving people back into our county, thankfully. People are coming back here to work and to play, and in our case, we're trying to stay ahead of that infrastructure. So we know that 3-lane road, which is basically a curbed and guttered, almost extension of what we've got north here, is going to extend down to Lumley Road. That's a multi-million-dollar project that AlDOT is finishing up on right now and getting us ready to go to bid and start construction. The other projects that we had was we've gotten A-TRIP money, which is just transportation money, every year since I've been in office. And now that means you have to go after that money. They don't just hand it to you. AlDOT doesn't give you anything. They want you to earn it, and they want you to be a partner in it.
Sure.
And so managing the finances of the city and taking over from Mayor Calhoun, who was really, really good with money as far as holding it. He didn't do a lot of spending, but he did hold it very well. That put us in a position where we could always match these grant opportunities. And so we ended up being able to expand the intersection there at Steel Station Road and Highway 77. Mm-hmm. That was an A-TRIP project. We put sidewalks and lighting in out going towards Challenger Learning Center as a part of that vision process. That was $1.5 million that we got free. We just got another $1 million for an extension down to our subdivisions there at I think it goes in at Castle Drive. We're just creating that internal ability for people to walk and move and get healthy. And then if you go to the other end of Lumley Road, we just received $1.2 million in an industrial access grant into our Commerce Park down there where SMD Metals will be, bringing 150 jobs. That's down in the area where all of our industry is down, kind of concentrated in the same place on the outskirts of the city where it should be. That's the perfect community plan now, is to put your industry on the outskirts and everybody live internal. Then we've got a interchange that we're putting through the process, us along with the county, and us and the county cooperate so well on those things, and so we know that we've been approved for interstate interchange, and that's going through that process. That is a long and arduous process. Then if you move on up, we're becoming a part of the integrated traffic signaling plan. It's part of called a TISMO. I don't really know what that stands for, but it's the ability for us to use cameras and AI and all that to move our traffic way better than timing traffic. Traffic engineers will come out and sit in a truck and literally watch the traffic and start creating data and putting counters in place and all that. We're going to be able to pull away from that and actually start using really, really highly intelligent technology that allows for us to be able to move people more and better. I think the one thing that we've seen just kind of fly up on Facebook and on social media was that we're doing another traffic enhancement, I guess you would say, and that is there on Church Street. And Church Street comes from up on 411 and comes down to Highway 77, and it's just going to be a little bypass lane, set of lanes that will allow people from Southside to come up and make a right-hand turn to go up, go away from the intersection and turn and go up Rainbow Drive. Coming south and heading back towards Southside, you'll be able to get on Church Street and go up to a light and turn to the left, which is now an illegal turn.
Right.
Which Jerry does.
Which nobody cares. But we get some revenue off of that one.
Nice.
But you'll be able to legally turn left, get into an acceleration lane, and accelerate out and get back on 77 to move down towards Southside and towards Calhoun County. So that's about a close to $2.5 million project. So if you start adding up, the amount of money that it's taken lobbying work, it's taken
Sure.
me and Jeff Prince and Anita Bedwell and my council going to not only to DC but to Montgomery and up to Huntsville, where the director meets us once a quarter, and doing that kind of hard work. It's hard work because you're asking for something that is not even in the foreseeable future. And then when those projects finally land, man, it sure is good.
Let's talk about a vetting process. I think you should have a vetting process to who you let live in your city.
Okay.
I'm meeting some people, and there's this gentleman that just commented on here.
Okay.
Says, Mayor Taylor is definitely a mover and a shaker. I'm proud to live in his city. He definitely makes us North Gadsden boys proud. That's Wade Skaggs. I'm really.
Now, I'm gonna take up for Wade. That's old North Gadsden there. See, because everybody.
I know.
I was straight up East Gadsden, but I started in South Gadsden, went to East Gadsden, stayed over there until I got out of school, and then or got kicked out of school, and then I moved out to North Gadsden, stayed 28 years in North Gadsden, went to the great city of Hopes Bluff with Scott Reeves as my mayor for just a short amount of time, back into Gadsden and then into Rainbow City, and I won't be going back. I'm going to stay right where I am. And I think Wade would tell you the same.
Wade's a fantastic guy.
He is a good guy.
He's got
great family,
great parents. Boy, I'm telling you,
Grant is greater than Wade.
No, that's not true.
You putting the greater than?
Grant
putting the greater than?
Grant is taller than Wade.
That is a fact.
Grant is greater than Wade.
Some would say Grant is way better looking.
I'm just.
Some would say.
I'm gonna tell you, he ain't built like Wade.
Ain't nobody built like that freak.
That dude is. He was
built like that in high school.
Yes.
And didn't even work out.
Dude is built like Tarzan.
Yeah, my God. It makes me sick, man.
Yeah, I love that dude. Their dad was just such a good man.
Oh my gosh.
He was solid.
Eddie is the deal, right? I mean, he was the deal. And Donna was a Sunday school teacher for us for a long time, and man, that's just good people.
Yeah, they're good folks.
And then he married into the Rivers family.
Yeah,
I can't believe Brother Gary let him in.
Can't believe it.
I mean, he didn't do a background check on you.
Everybody has a down day.
I mean, golly.
He was trying to be sure he built that atrium in heaven.
That's all.
He was trying to get some extra credit.
Right. True.
That's true.
Hey, but before we get out of here,
well, I think let me finish my little transportation time, and then I'll be done.
He is selling that.
The Southside Bridge, which is actually called the Northbound 77 Bridge. That Northbound 77 Bridge is done, and I want people to hear this. That bridge is going to be built. I was with the director last week. They gave me they gave me absolutes about the fact that the Southside Bridge is going to be built. We know that that's probably going to, we'll start seeing another little bit of movement soon. We got one little environmental portion that they're finishing up right now. And then when that happens, we're going to see that bridge. Now, everybody believes that that's going to somehow just be magical and it's just going to pop up. There's going to be 2 years of tough times, getting back and forth. And I think that's one of those things that if we can be patient, I promise you, all of this construction, and look, we're watching construction on the sides of our roads now. Mm-hmm. That's a great thing to see because it means that we're going to get better roads. Right. AlDOT has to do it this way, and people are going to think I'm just a homeboy for AlDOT, but I kind of am because I can understand the way they do their business now. You've got to prove your city is growing before they're going to come in and invest millions and millions. A 3-lane road is $2 million per mile.
Good.
$3 million per mile.
Wow.
Just paving Pleasant Valley, which the county commission is doing now through the MPO. That is a $2 million or $3 million project from here to Attala. And all they're doing is repairing base failure and doing surface work and striping. So it's over $1 million a mile to do paving. So I think that's one of the things that I would say to people is it sounds good to say, why haven't you paved all the streets? Luckily, if you're from Rainbow City, your streets are being paved.
That's right.
We work continuously to make sure that we're putting you on a A, B, or C grade road. And a C grade road in Rainbow City now feels like you're at a buckboard, because we're so used to having good roads. And we've got another big paving project coming out up this spring. If people just look around and see that we're creating that growth that forces our next higher level when it comes to transportation and infrastructure, which is ALDOT, we're forcing them to come in and engage with us and do work and spend money. And it's millions, y'all. It's just millions of dollars. I think over $120 million worth of public money coming into this city, and over $100 million worth of private.
How much of that is going into Druid Park?
Druid Park is actually is on the list right now to get some work.
Yeah, I've been on the list to get hired by Rainbow City for 7 years.
Any excess?
Here we go.
We're gonna designate an area out on our side lot out there.
Okay.
For any excess that you have to go dump and waste, the asphalt is just to be dumped there.
That'd be a good idea.
That'd
be a good idea to hook up with these people. I'm telling you, when they come down through here, they're going to be taking it up and putting it down.
That portion of our parking lot is like Cambodia. Yeah. Or some may say like old South 11th Street.
It's like a bomb went off right there.
Roll in here.
You got to be careful where you park.
Somebody wants to know where the Rainbow City line is when it comes to the bridges out there going in the south side. Where does it?
We are everything on this side of the road.
Okay.
Or this side of the river.
So when you hit this bank.
Yes. So I guess you would say the dividing line between Rainbow City and Southside, this is not technically true. It's technically true that we own to the other side of the river. But then Joey Statham can come out and say, well, it's technically true that we own to the other side of the river. That is a true statement from both of us. But if you were to say where the dividing line is, it's down the center of the river. That would be the boundary line.
So that brings up the next comment. Can this new bridge be named the Mayor Joe Taylor?
I like bridge? What you're thinking. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually kidding. I said in this, I would be happy if they named a latrine after me. That's what we always said in the military, if we could just get a memorial latrine named after us. But I don't know what happens with all that stuff. But I just know we're going to get a bridge. That would be the best thing.
Very excited about the Rainbow City Bridge coming.
Me too.
Yeah, I tell people, let's don't forget that thing comes over here. I mean, we act like it's just going over there and that's it. But
there's a reason so many of those people want to get over here.
There is. And look, and I'll say this, and I've said it from the very beginning. I've worked my tail off to make sure that we're cooperative with our sister city, and me and Keith Clay. Now look, I love Keith Clay. He's a councilman over in Southside, and I made a tongue-in-cheek statement one time that Southside was our little sister. Technically, that's not true. We know that that's just not true. They're our sister city, and I've always said that, and I've always been very cooperative. Joey and I do good work together. Dana and I did good work together. We kind of grew up as mayors together, but I spent a lot of time back and forth to DC. Our first appropriation came from Robert Adderholt. We're still in his district at the time, and this last appropriation that we got, which was a couple of $1 million from Katie Britt, $1 million from Coach Tuberville. That came because of a trip that Dana and I made back last year. Yeah. And, it's just the way it is. But the next person has to deal with that. And I've said before, that there are things that when I came into office that were still left over kind of on the cooker, from Terry John. Well, I can't just walk out of the kitchen and let the kitchen catch on fire. It was my job to go in and finish those things up. And as far as this bridge, me being here for another 4 years, not only am I kind of invested with Joey and Southside, it's going to be up to us to finish this bridge out. But the legacy of that bridge is going to go back to Joey, no doubt. He gets credit for that because he's the continuation of that leadership. But it goes back to Dana Snyder. And that's just a fact. And it does, there's a portion of that lays in my lap. And because I'm continuing my service, eventually it'll look like, for me, it will be, I'll be thrilled to death to see that come to fruition because it's been so much hard work. But we've gotten millions of dollars for that bridge out of DC because of relationships that we established over that first 5 years that Mayor Snyder was in office. And now it's up to, and Joey will be in Washington 2 or 3 weeks from now. We'll be up there together and taking meetings together so that we can we can push our cities forward together. Now, people are going to love to say, well, this is what happened during the election and whatever. Truth is, Joey Statham is the mayor of Southside, and I'm the mayor over here. We don't get a chance to say that we don't like the outcome of an election. It's our job to work together, whether we like it or not. It's not hard. I'll put that out there right now. Joey Statham's been a pleasure for me to work with. That council over there, I've got great friends on that council, and I appreciate what they do. They have that same thing in mind, and those council members over there, they call on me. They call on my council members as associates and cohorts, to make sure that we're doing things the right way.
I was in Joey's office yesterday, and he spoke very highly of you. I said, "You talking about Joe Taylor?"
And he's going to have to do that in public.
And last, before he gets out of here, you and Miss Rachel are going on Jeff and Ellie's podcast.
We are. We're very excited about
That's
that.
awesome.
Rachel says, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I said, well, they'll come up with something for us to talk about, I promise you. I think it's great. It's one of those things where, Jeff did invite me and Rachel. I think people need to see Rachel more and understand her heart.
That would encourage it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. She's not hard on the eyes, but I'll tell you something, that girl has a heart. I can't tell you, well, I can say in the last 3-4 weeks, she's given up every night that we've had in service of this city.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's not her job. You don't get paid for being first lady or whatever it is that people like to call her, but she takes it very seriously. She represents our city in a really, really good way. She's a person that loves people.
Yeah.
She gives of her time, she gives of her talent and her money, and that's hard to beat. The 3 T's: talent, time, treasure, and talent. And she has a lot of each of those, and a little bit less on the treasure than I really thought when I married her. But
not now.
No, not now.
Yeah,
she's showing up. She's stacking it up now. But I think that's one of those things. Being able to go on your show, and you said we're going to talk about things other than me being the mayor.
That's right.
And that thrills me to death for me to be able to kind of showcase what mine and her life has become in this, because this is the only way she's known me. We got married after I became mayor. I didn't want to get married and make it look like I was trying to make everything all politically correct. I didn't want to do her that way. And we got married. She says that I was stalling, but I wasn't. But
Cold feet.
Yeah. But we're going to get a chance, hopefully, for people to see that she and I, we don't take life too serious. We kind of live by what Rule 62, and that is don't take yourself too dang seriously, and that's how we do it. But she's a very, very smart person, and y'all are going to enjoy her if we can get that thing off the ground.
It's going to work. The 3rd Tuesdays, 6 o'clock. It's going to be
even she's entitled to one bad decision.
That's right.
That's right.
I mean, it's a fact,
and she'll gladly tell you that was it.
All right, guys. Thank you for your comments. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Man, we're blown away about what you guys do for us. We're very fortunate and very blessed. And Mayor Taylor, thank you for everything else that you do, my man. Jared White, love you, buddy.
Liar.
I just wanted to make that public.
He doesn't.